Have you ever found yourself, just stuck in that loop? You're working like crazy, taking things off a list, always busy. But then you step back and feel like, well, like you haven't really gotten anywhere important. Maybe you think, okay, I just need to hustle even harder.
Yeah.
But what if doing more isn't actually the answer? What if it's about changing how you work altogether? We're talking about becoming what you might call a strategic producer.
Yeah, and this deep dive is really timed perfectly for that shift. We're pulling out the core ideas from Thibaut Meurisse's book, Strategic Mindset, a 7-day plan. You know the one, it's in his productivity series.
Right.
Think of this as like a shortcut. It's about getting how to make your effort count, how to get real results by thinking strategically.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack this 7-day framework he lays out. It's designed to change how you think about productivity. We're moving past just, you know, doing things right, which is good, obviously, but getting to the core of doing the right things, making sure every action counts. Get ready for maybe a few aha moments along the way.
Okay, so let's really dive in. This isn't about just cramming more tasks onto your calendar, not at all. It's more of a fundamental change in how you look at your goals. It kind of reminds me of chess, actually. You don't win just by making random moves, right? You need a strategy, you have to think ahead. Productivity is kind of the same game.
It really is. Strategic productivity. Basically, it just means using your time, your energy to get the biggest results with the least wasted effort. It's making sure every single task, every choice links back to your bigger vision. It comes down to getting really clear, finding the best strategy, asking smarter questions, building focus, and then tackling tasks the right way. Okay, let's dig into that because, well, strategic productivity just isn't possible without clear goals and a plan, right? It's funny, isn't it, how people might spend weeks planning a vacation, but maybe only minutes, if that, planning their actual lives for the next year. Why do you think that is?
That's a really sharp observation. I think maybe life planning feels too big, too abstract, but Peter Drucker nailed it, didn't he? Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. So strategic planning isn't just about doing more, it's about making absolutely sure you're working on the right things, cutting through all that noise.
Right. So day one in this framework is about planning your year for maximum effectiveness. Here's something for you listening in. Maybe grab a pen later or just pause now and brainstorm this. What would make the next 12 months truly valuable for me? Just, 5 or 10 minutes.
And what's really powerful there is that long-term thinking. It keeps coming up as a huge predictor of success. It's not just wishful thinking. Setting those long-term goals forces you to say no to tons of other possibilities, other distractions. It lets you focus your energy, like that chess game again. You're seeing the obstacle, picking the key moves, picturing the win. The author really stresses that visualizing future achievements. It genuinely helps you get there.
Okay, so you do that brainstorm, and then the challenge is to pick just one major goal for the whole year. Maybe ask yourself things like, if I only hit one big goal this year, which one makes me proudest? Or which one makes the biggest positive splash in my life?
Mm.
And sometimes, that thing that feels a little intimidating, that might be exactly the one you need to go after. All right, day two, this is where it gets really good. Making the dominoes fall and unleashing compounding. You know, that Bruce Lee quote, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So how do we apply that? How do we keep hitting that same spot on the tree?
That's the perfect analogy. The dominoes are those key actions, the ones with the most leverage for your goal. This isn't just about being busy. It's finding those specific, consistent things that, build up over time. An exponential effect. It's that compounding power. James Clear's idea, right? Get 1% better daily, and you're like 37 times better in a year. But it's about applying that consistent focus to the right few things. That's where the real momentum comes from. And the source gives us 4 characteristics of these right dominoes. First, they build momentum. Often these are daily habits. Learning piano, practice 30 minutes daily. That's a domino. Learning Spanish, same idea, daily practice. Second, they involve a paradigm shift, a real change in how you see things that just transforms your approach. Like imagine a writer thinking they have to get a traditional publisher, then realizing, wait, I can self-publish now. Big shift. It's about asking different questions. What's the absolute fastest way? What would, Musk do here? Third, they lead to significant progress, like way outsized progress. One action can be hundreds of times more effective than another. The author of The One Thing, Gary Keller, he talks about how writing that one book totally changed their business trajectory. Or Hal Elrod with The Miracle Morning, his one thing was just doing tons and tons of podcast interviews. You have to find your leverage point. And fourth, this one's interesting. They dramatically reduce your options. A good strategy tells you what not to do. The author says, busyness is laziness in thinking. And it's true, right? It's easy to fill time, harder to choose wisely. Think about Amazon starting with just books, Google just with search. Apple with a very narrow product line initially. The author himself, he focused only on writing books for Amazon, said no to coaching, courses, everything else. And that focus eventually brought the publishers to him. It frees up so much mental space.
That's huge, because saying no feels so difficult sometimes. So for you listening, think about that main goal you picked.
Yeah.
What are your right dominoes? Is it one repeated action, a shift in thinking, a specific strategy, or maybe narrowing your focus? What creates the biggest impact? Okay, so you've got the year goal, you've got the dominoes. But how do you keep going? How do you avoid that New Year's resolution fizzle out? That leads us to day 3, planning your 90 days for tangible results.
Yes. The 90-day window is kind of a strategic sweet spot. It's perfect for making real solid progress. Why? Because it feels tangible, you can almost touch the finish line. That creates urgency, and it forces you to make a more detailed plan than you would for a whole year. Plus, you measure progress more often. Think about it. Lose 5 pounds in 90 days feels way more doable than lose 20 pounds this year.
Yeah.
Or write a first draft in 90 days. It makes the goal feel immediate, real, actionable.
Right. So the advice here is pretty straightforward. Work backward from your yearly goal, break it into 90-day chunks, quarter by quarter. Don't stress about perfection right away. Just get a plan down. You can always tweak it. The planning itself is key. Okay, so we've covered the big picture planning, but well, planning isn't enough, is it? You have to execute. Strategically, every day, what does it actually look like on a daily basis?
You hit it right in the head. Doing the right things daily. That's the absolute core. We often know what we should be doing. If you're a writer, write. Salesperson, prospect, coach. But we drift towards the easy stuff, right? Or we just avoid those crucial, maybe harder tasks. Strategic producers, they deliberately tackle those essential, sometimes uncomfortable things first. That's the real difference maker. So day 4 is being strategic during your day. And there's a great 7-step method for tackling tasks. First, prioritize. Seems obvious, but really do it. Ask, if I only do one thing today, what has the biggest impact on my main goal? Second, assess validity. Challenge every task. Do I really need to do this now, or can I delay it, eliminate it, cut ruthlessly? Third, clarify. Know exactly what done looks like before you start. What's the clear outcome? Fourth, determine who. Huge one. Can someone else do this better, faster, cheaper? Delegate. Outsource. Your time is worth more than you think. Fifth, find the most effective way. Remember Lincoln. Sharpen the axe before chopping. How can you approach this smartly? Reuse templates. Use existing knowledge. Sixth, batch. Group similar tasks. Like YouTubers filming multiple videos at once. Save setup time, boosts flow. And 7th, automate. Checklists, templates for repetitive stuff. Free up your brain for the real strategic thinking.
That's a really practical checklist.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've optimized how you do tasks. Now, what about who you need to be during the day? There's this interesting idea, the CEO co-opoi framework, like wearing different hats. How does that work?
It's a really effective mental model. You basically assign yourself roles throughout the day. In the morning, you're the CEO. Strategic planning time. What are today's priorities? Why do they matter for the big picture? How will I tackle them? Using those 7 steps, maybe. The CEO gets the employee on board. Then you switch hats. You become the employee. Execution mode. Just do the work the CEO planned. No second guessing. And at the end of the day, you put on the CEO hat. Review time. What worked? What could be better tomorrow? It builds that cycle of improvement. The benefits: less decision fatigue during the day, less self-doubt because the plan is set, you actually schedule strategic thinking, and you get better at self-reflection. It really smooths things out.
Yeah, I can see that. So for you listening, think about how you could maybe try applying these methods. Even small changes could make a big difference. You know, listening to this, it feels like strategic productivity isn't just about what you do, but really deeply about how you think. Is that where asking smart questions fits in?
Absolutely spot on. Like Tony Robbins says, successful people ask better questions, and they get better answers. Our internal chatter often holds us back, right? Asking disempowering things like, why does this always happen to me? Oh, we need to flip that. Consciously ask questions that point towards solutions. So for day 5, asking yourself smart questions, the book highlights 3 powerful types. First, how questions. These naturally steer you to solutions. Instead of, why did this go wrong? Oh, ask, how can I prevent this next time? Or how can I double my results but cut my work time? Specificity helps here. Second, what if questions. These are great for unlocking imagination, possibilities. What if I could design my perfect life? What if I could easily overcome my biggest fear in 90 days? They break down mental barriers. And third, who questions. These tap into collective wisdom. This whole self-made idea is mostly a myth, isn't it? We all learn from others. Ask who already has the answers I need, or who has achieved what I want to achieve. What can I learn from them? Asking for help is strategic, not weak.
And while you're asking these powerful questions, you've got to keep the big picture front and center. We all know shiny object syndrome, right? Jumping from one cool idea to the next, never finishing anything. And another trap is trying to perfectly balance every single area of life all at once: career, health, finances, relationships. Why is that often a bad idea?
Well, it usually just leads to feeling spread thin and making only tiny bits of progress everywhere. It's exhausting and often unsatisfying. The strategic move, counterintuitively, is to pour a disproportionate amount of energy into one key life area for a few months. Get some real traction, feel that satisfying progress, then pivot to the next area. Improving one area often lifts others. Better health means more energy for work. Better finances reduce stress overall. Focus unlocks momentum.
That makes a lot of sense. So a question for you listening. What one area of your life, if you really improved it, would create the biggest positive ripple effect everywhere else? Identify that and then start applying those how, what if, and who questions to your big goal in that specific area. Okay, moving right along to day 6, learning to accelerate your goals. There's a great point here. It's not just about consuming information, it's about applying it. That feels like a common trap, just reading books or watching videos but not actually doing anything differently.
Oh, completely. Goethe said something like, "We only retain what we practically apply." It's so true. It's this balancing act. You need the right info, but then you absolutely have to put it into practice. Too much info, no action. Overwhelm. Too much action without the right info. Wasted effort. The book points out 5 common learning mistakes that sabotage strategy. First, overlearning. Just gathering way too much stuff, often irrelevant details, you get lost. Define your scope first. Second, analysis paralysis. Drowning in information, conflicting advice, complexity. Like that coach overwhelmed by gurus or the researcher lost in minutia, the fix. Take in less info, take more action. Simple but hard. Third, the illusion of competence. Thinking you're learning because it feels productive, like highlighting a book, but you're not really retaining or applying it. True learning often feels hard. Fourth, shiny object syndrome. We mentioned it. Jumping around, never sticking with one thing long enough to see results, kills goals. And fifth, poor planning skills. Just disorganized learning. No real strategy for how you learn and use the knowledge. So how to learn effectively. Reduce the input, increase the output. Before you start learning anything new, define 4 things. 1, what exactly are you trying to learn? Spanish for travel, for business, for literature. Be specific. 2, why do you need it? How does it serve your bigger vision? A strong why fuels motivation. Reading Dostoevsky in Russian is a stronger why than just learning Russian. 3, what does the final result look like? A report, a presentation, a specific conversation. Make it concrete. And 4, what's the best way to learn it? This is where you design your learning strategy. And setting specific learning goals with deadlines is critical. Passing a language test by X date, having conversation by Y date. It defines the scope, makes it real, creates urgency, and helps you build a detailed action plan. Now, for finding the best learning strategy. First, find a mentor, someone who's done what you want to do. Ask them how they did it. Ask things like, what was your strategy? What was hardest? What would you do differently? Get their secret sauce. Second, brainstorm ways to reach your goal. Think about what not to do as well. Third, create that action plan. Key daily actions, time needed, milestones.
That's a really solid approach. But when it comes to which skills to learn, how do you choose? Not all skills have the same impact, do they?
Definitely not. First, focus on skills that directly serve your long-term goals. A writer needs writing skills, obviously. A teacher needs communication skills. Then think about meta skills. These are skills that help you learn other skills faster or apply them better. Learning how to learn, clear communication, active listening, critical thinking, they pay huge dividends. And should you focus on bottlenecks or strengths? Generally, lean into your strengths if they're working for you. But you have to fix weaknesses if they're actively holding you back, like extreme shyness for a speaker, or if they're really hurting your confidence. How many skills at once? The advice is usually just 2-3 new ones max. And remember, combining skills gives you an edge. A great writer who's also a savvy marketer. Powerful combination. Finally, think about the level of expertise needed. Going from good to truly expert takes immense time. Be strategic. Don't spend years mastering something you only need to be good enough at.
That's a really important distinction. Okay, so for you listening, maybe list the skills you think you need for a big goal, then pick just the top 2 or 3. And crucially, make sure they actually excite you. That helps a lot. All right, we're on a home stretch, day 7. Optimizing your energy for productivity. Because let's face it, strategy and plans are great, but energy is the fuel, right?
It's absolutely the fuel. Swami Vivekananda said, life begets life, energy creates energy. It's true. The more energy you have, the more effectively you can execute your strategy. It all links together.
First big point here, using peak time effectively. We all have those times a day when we're just sharper, more focused. But so many people waste that prime time on, email, social media, low-value stuff. Just 1 hour of focused work during your peak can be worth several hours when you're tired. If you're unsure when your peak time is, try an experiment. Work on your hardest task in the morning, then afternoon, then evening for a few days. See when you really shine.
That's such a practical tip, and it really pushes back against that always be hustling myth, doesn't it? It's not about constant grinding. No, that's the path to burnout. You can't maintain super high focus all day long. It's impossible. Strategic productivity means deliberately alternating between push periods, that intense focused work, and pull periods. Pull is relaxation, letting your subconscious work. Go for a walk, meditate, chat with someone, stretch, just stare out the window. This back and forth is absolutely essential, especially for creative or complex thinking. It lets your brain consolidate and connect ideas. And related to that, carving out time to think each week. Remember, busyness is laziness in thinking. Setting aside even just an hour or two a week purely for strategic thinking, not worrying, but actual reflection can save you huge amounts of time later. It's time to check you're on track, find better ways to do things, maybe generate those game-changing ideas. It's probably the highest leverage activity you can do.
So picture this. Person A works flat out all day, no breaks. Person B works intensely for, say, 45 minutes, then takes a real 15-minute break, then repeats. Who's actually getting more done and probably feeling better too?
Oh, it's person B, hands down. By segmenting your day with those planned breaks, person B is more focused during the work blocks, more deliberate, way more effective overall, and less stressed. Those regular breaks recharge you, prevent fatigue fog, and help you make better decisions all day long. Person A just gets worn down, makes mistakes, and ends up wasting time anyway. Intentional breaks are a strategic tool.
Definitely food for thought. So for you listening, maybe do a quick self-check on energy. How well are you using your peak time? Alternating focus and rest, making time to think, segmenting your day. So when you boil it all down, the choice is really yours. Stay busy or become truly productive, truly strategic. In this crazy information age, being able to create a clear strategy, find the right info, and take effective action. That's like having a superpower.
It really is. And look, becoming a strategic producer isn't like flipping a switch. It's a process, a journey. You will get distracted. You'll slip up. That's normal. The key is building the habit of stepping back, checking your map, refining the strategy, refocusing on those key dominoes, and just taking that consistent daily action towards your vision. People with that clarity and a plan, they just achieve more. It's almost inevitable over time.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What one strategic shift, if you really committed to it consistently, could fundamentally change how you approach everything and open up possibilities you can't even see right now.
And just as a final note, if you find distractions are constantly pulling you off course, and that happens to a lot of us, Thibaut Meurisse actually has another book in the series, Dopamine Detox. It digs into the why behind procrastination and how to fight back. Might be a really helpful next step if that's a particular struggle for you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope you take these ideas and start applying them on your own journey towards becoming a truly strategic producer.